Friendships have always been one of the most confusing parts of my life as an autistic person. There are so many unspoken rules, expectations, social signals that people just seem to understand. For me, it feels like trying to solve a puzzle without a picture on the box. I've just been having like a lot of confusing feelings about friendships recently, so I'm not sure how structured this video is. I think I'd prefer it to just be more of a natural monologue. Hello there, I'm Autist Brit. I was diagnosed as autistic at the age of 37. I'm still learning what autism means for me, and I make content sharing my journey. Oh boy, friendships. A friendship to me is just someone that you share some common interests with, someone that you care about, and someone that you feel like you can just message them any day and just say, how's it going? And want to know their answer because I genuinely care. I'm not really sure how my expectations differ from the social norm, to be honest, but that's just what friendship is to me. Just checking in, seeing how you're doing, having similar interests. They're good company. They're easy to be around, and you ask about their life and you care about their life. So I'll move straight onto something that has been in my mind recently and pretty much the reason why I wanted to make this video, and that's difficulty with hidden expectations. I don't know if this is specifically an internet thing, an online thing, but just knowing how often to message. I have very few people in my life. The few people that are around, they mean a lot to me. And I just have a friend where I'll message them and they won't reply, or they just leave it on read, or they just don't read it. And sometimes they won't reply for months. And this is just really difficult for me because it's like, it's very unbalanced from the get-go. I'm giving this a lot more attention than they are, so it instantly makes me feel like I am worth less in the friendship. But then how do I approach something like that? You know, how do I say, can you message more please, so I feel like we're actually friends? Or I don't know how I would approach something like that. But that's been a very common theme actually, and it's something that I felt a lot recently, is this unbalance. Like I message them a lot more than they message me. Not that I message a lot anyway. I typically message and just leave them to it and let them reply in their own time. But sometimes I've done this and it's been like 8 months. So that's just something that's been difficult recently. There's been a particular friend that I message and they just don't really reply. And I would just like more contact with them, and I don't know how to approach that. So things just end up feeling very unbalanced. And I also worry as well about like if I'm doing the friendship right or not. I don't know if it's okay to, message more if someone isn't responding, because to me that feels like I start feeling like a burden and I feel like I'm being annoying. So what I would like really is just message someone, give them their own time, and then they'll message. But like I said before, sometimes this goes on for like more than half of a year, and then I feel like there is no friendship there anymore. And things like just listening and helping as well. I feel like I've always been a good listener, and I always try my best to help. And I know that friendships are very rarely balanced, but they can also just be, they can be somewhere closer to balanced than completely unbalanced. And I've been feeling like a lot of my friendships have been quite unbalanced actually. I'll ask someone how they're doing, and they might share or they might not share, but then I don't really get the same in return. So it's just its own challenge really of knowing whether a friendship is truly mutual or not. They're always unbalanced, and typically unbalanced in the way that I put a lot more attention into it and it means a lot more to me than it does to them. At least that's how it feels. But again, that could also be because I have so few people in my life that the people I do have I care about a lot, and I sort of, perhaps I attach too quickly, or I put too much value into that when the value isn't really there because the other person doesn't want the same thing. It becomes difficult in social situations as well because I'm already trying to manage my social energy as an autistic person, and I'm already struggling a lot as it is. So it might come across as me being a bit aloof or distant, or like I don't want to be there, when in reality I'm like super happy to be seeing this friend and this person because friends mean a lot to me. But then it's just the environment and being autistic and having sensory issues and all of that fun stuff where I'm just trying to like not have a meltdown and I'm trying to just get through it. So I might just not seem very present, or I might seem distant, or like I don't want to speak, or maybe I'm even coming across as rude. And this unbalance as well could just be a difference in communication style. Perhaps this person just doesn't like to text much, doesn't like to message much online, they prefer in-person interaction. But again, that's difficult for me to decipher. As an autistic person, or just as me, as I function, I would like to just ask these things to people and to just be direct. You know, I'd love to say, would you prefer that we met more often to speak? Should I text less? Or is it okay for me to text more? I would just like to have more. I would like to talk to you more, you know? I would like to have more conversation. But this doesn't really feel appropriate. It feels like the world runs on hidden meanings and subtlety and deciphering all of these weird little codes that you send under 10 layers of communication when I just want to be honest with people and I just want to say, can we message more? Because I miss you. I wish I could just be more direct in that way. I wish I could just say to people, is it okay if we speak more? Just something simple like that. Can we speak more? Is that okay? Is that something you would like? But it just doesn't feel appropriate, and it's like, that just feels very difficult to approach. I know that I have a lot of social difficulties as an autistic person, and needing alone time as well can also come across as quite distant and aloof, and again perhaps rude. I just need alone time after a social situation because my social battery gets depleted within like 5 seconds, so I need that time. But also, you know, I like people. People are very interesting, funny, they're fascinating, they have amazing lives, and I care a lot about the few people that I have in my life. It's difficult for me to socialize because I'm autistic, but I also do want to socialize because I would like some friends, you know? I'm still a human being. I would like some, you know, some level of human connection and to feel like maybe I belong somewhere. And it's just nice to connect with people and it's nice to learn about people. And I just want to feel like I matter to someone. So I've just been feeling very confused about friendships in general. About what's okay in terms of communication. If people don't reply, do I just message more? Which just feels bad. I don't like that. I like to just let people respond and give them their own time. But then this time can suddenly become years. And then it's like, are we even friends anymore? So I just don't know how to approach this. And because of the way that the world runs as it was made by neurotypicals, it's just everything is run on these weird hidden messages that I can't decipher. And I just wish I could be more honest and direct and just say these things. But it doesn't seem like that's an appropriate way to approach a friendship in this world that we live in. I do also understand that not all friendships are typical or balanced. Relationships are just inherently like that. I feel like they're very rarely balanced, but I do feel like they can be more balanced than not. They can be, you know, they don't have to be like this. They can be wonky like that. But that doesn't mean they have to be completely busted and broken, like a seesaw that's just like cut in half. I feel like it doesn't have to be perfect, but there can be an attempt to sort of make it balanced and make it be level. But I have always found comfort in the few friendships that I do have because they're just that much more meaningful to me. But then here comes the other issue. Maybe because I have these very few friendships, maybe I attach too quickly. Maybe I put too much value into it straight away when the dynamics don't allow for that. That isn't just the way that the friendship is in terms of reciprocation and dynamics. Maybe I just have to accept that they will be skewed. Not to sort of paint myself as any victim or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to do. But just in my experience and how I feel about these things, it just seems to be skewed in the way that I put more value and attention into it than the other person does. And it just sucks, you know? I'd like to feel like I matter to someone. I'd like to be valued. I just want to speak more to people, which sounds like a very weird thing as an autistic person. But I would just like some more, I don't know, less of this like fake things that happen that are expected. Like, it just feels like a play, like I'm acting most of the time. And I don't really want to partake in this weird one-on-one acting lesson. I just want to connect with someone and try to find out more about them and, you know, be in their company and feel like I'm important to them. And I've also noticed that this can be weirdly even more confusing with autistic friends because now we have autistic people that are masking to each other, which is something very interesting that I've encountered. Now it's like a weird double expectation. It's like not only are we doing the neurotypical acting game, it's like now we're expecting each other to mask, to appear neurotypical, to play this acting game when we both know that we're autistic. We both know that we're not neurotypical. So this wasn't very structured. This was just a bit of a rant from me. I hope it wasn't too much of a mess. I knew that my brain was going to go all over the place and I was going to have tangents upon spirals and God knows what. But I've just been feeling very odd recently because I just don't know what's expected, and I don't know whether it's okay for me to voice my expectation. If it's okay to say things like, I wish we could speak more, or things like understanding that the friendships are unbalanced and possibly accepting that. It probably shouldn't affect how you value yourself, but it just does. You can feel this difference of value. I'm obviously less valuable in this friendship, and it's skewed, and that's just how the friendship is. So it's difficult to accept that because you reach the point where, do I accept this or do I just give up on the friendship? Do I want this imbalance? Am I okay with that? As a person who has few people in their lives, I think it hurts just that little bit more to cut someone out of your life, because now it's like, oh, I had 3 people and now I have 2. Have you had confusing friendship experiences? Please comment and share. I know that this was just a bit of a weird rant video, but I've just been feeling very, I think, undervalued and confused about friendships generally in my life. If you also have similar experiences, then I would really like you to share. It would be nice to hear how other people feel about this. And perhaps I can see things from a different perspective and feel a bit more positive about certain aspects of friendships. Thank you for watching my complete mess of a rant. I super appreciate you. If you're autistic, late diagnosed, or just curious, please consider subscribing for more videos about being a late diagnosed autistic adult. Thank you very much. I'm doing a heart if you can see it. It's a bit odd because of my microphone position. Have a lovely day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.